I'm calling you live from the Caitos Nutrition Show. Just wondering if you have any questions. Don't be a comedian and don't say something like that. Okay, thanks, man. Hi, this is Leo. Welcome to the Caitos Nutrition Show. Today we're going to do something a little bit different than what we've been doing. Today I have a very special guest with me. He is a friend and customer and client, and I've known him for about 3 years, and he has just made tremendous progress, especially in the last year, but ever since I met him, he is just, he's a very, very great listener, a great student, does everything I tell him, inside, outside the gym, and he is actually considering doing a show, a physique show sometime in the near future, and he's only 15 years old. So you're going to see little glimpses and maybe a little bit of video footage of him during this podcast to give you an idea of what he looks like and to what you can possibly look like or set goals to look like if you do the right thing inside and outside the gym. So, like I say, he's a great student of mine, and he's very, very passionate, very motivated, and he just listens to everything I tell him to do. So I'm going to ask him some questions today, and this video is intended to help motivate people that are around his age, 14, 15, 16 years old, and to learn that if you do the right thing in the kitchen with your nutrition, with your supplementation, and also in the gym with choosing the right exercises, doing the most productive exercises, you can, I don't know if you're going to look like him, but you can definitely see a lot of progress with your strength and adding lean muscle. So Liam, how long have we been working together?
Me and Leo started working together when I was in 8th grade. It's been 3 years. It'll be 3 years in March, and ever since then my progress has just been tremendous, and I couldn't have made any other decision than to come to him.
Yeah, I've noticed that too, and I just told you before we did this podcast that I've never told anybody this, and I've met a lot of male and females, all different ages, and everybody and their brother wants to get on stage and compete, but I've never told anybody that they possess phenomenal genetics like you do. And genetics are something that you're born with. You can't buy them, you can't earn them, you can't change them. You do have phenomenal genetics, Liam, and you guys will see in some of these pics and maybe a little bit of video footage of what he's transformed his body into. So what type of progress have you made since we first met to up until this point? Inside the gym, maybe with some of your lifts, what your body weight's gotten up to, and what type of progress have you made in the kitchen? I know you live with your mom, and she probably prepares or cooks most of your meals, but what progress have you made with your nutrition as far as what you used to eat and what you eat now?
Yeah, and when we first started training and dieting and really moving towards this new bodybuilding lifestyle, I was around maybe 130, 135 pounds. Had a decent amount of muscle on me. Before that, I still trained the wrong way. Didn't really watch my macros or my diet plan whatsoever. And since I've came to Leo in the past 3 years, I went from about 135, 140 pounds, to now I'm 180 pounds and about 10 to 11% body fat. So the progress has definitely showed in the statistics.
What are some of your lifts, Liam? What and I'm the last guy that's going to say how much can you bench, but the numbers are relative. So like what do you use for say flat dumbbell presses and maybe a flat barbell press?
Flat dumbbell press, usually in the 8 to 10 rep range. I'll use 75s or 80s, and then obviously I'll do drop sets. And then my flat bench started out about 3 years ago. I could probably get 135 for maybe 3 or 4 reps, and now now I can bench 240.
Wow.
And So
How about your squat and
yeah,
deadlift?
My squat, I don't prefer 1 rep maxes, but 315 for 5
Wow.
has been.
Now keep in mind, guys, this is a 15-year-old kid we're talking about, and I've seen him squat, and he goes to parallel or less.
Yeah, I definitely like to keep form as a very important factor with lifting because we're doing it for the long time, and if you throw your form out the way, then you're gonna hurt yourself. And deadlifts, I'll do maybe once a week. I stay away from usually. My max deadlift is 375 for 1.
Wow.
Don't rep it out, and so yeah.
So that's great. That's awesome. I mean, and Liam, that is just a tip of the iceberg. God knows what your potential is, and yeah, I know you're not a power lifter. You're a bodybuilder at heart. And it doesn't. No bodybuilder's ever been asked how much they bench or how much they squat. It's a matter of what you look like. But the heavy weights are important, as I've taught you. Doing strict, heavy compound movements. That's when it's going to put the most mass on you. So what have you noticed as far as progress from your diet from when we didn't know each other to say up to now?
Yeah, before I came to Leo, I still was a pretty big eater, and I've always had a healthy lifestyle overall. Lean chicken, rice, broccoli, but I didn't have the amount of food that I really should have been if I want to build this lean mass in the amount of time I have. I've moved it to 6-7 meals a day, 200 grams of protein, and make sure I get all my healthy fats and no processed bullshit or fast food, any of that. It's really, I think I'm pretty proud of myself overall of how strict I've been on my diet, and I definitely think that's a huge part of my success.
Yeah, and keep in mind that you're in high school now, so it's very difficult to eat clean meals and eat multiple meals. Also, you said you ate fairly clean before, but you're a full-blown ectomorph. And those of you who don't know what an ectomorph is a body type. It's one of the 3 body types that you're born with. An ectomorph is somebody who couldn't get fat if they tried. They have a screaming metabolism, and it's extremely hard to gain weight. It's harder for somebody like Liam to gain weight than it is somebody who's a mesomorph or an endomorph, which have a lot easier time gaining weight, but they have a hard time losing weight, getting lean. So Liam is kind of cursed in the sense of he has a screaming metabolism, but he knows what to do to put himself in a calorie surplus mode. So that explains him gaining, 35, 40 pounds in the last 3 years. It's not easy. It's a lot of work. It's very regimented. He's very, very, very motivated, very passionate. He kind of reminds me of a young me where, there was nothing more important in my life than adding muscle and getting stronger. And he does it for nobody else but himself. It's not like you're trying to walk around and look big and strong and take your shirt off everywhere. I stay covered up all the time. So it's just something, call it an insecurity, I guess, but it drives us, it motivates us to go to the gym, to lift heavy weights, to train intensely. But the hardest part is outside the gym. Bodies are built in the kitchen, not the gym. So to eat 6 or 7 or 8 meals a day with chicken and rice and all clean food, no fast food, it's a very difficult thing to do. So my hat's off to him. And like I say, this is just the beginning. It's kind of scary to think about what he's going to look like in another year. So Liam, I know I'm big on supplements. And the right kind of supplements, the right brand of supplements. So what type of supplements do you use? What type of supplements have you bought other places? I'll let you answer if they worked or not. And what have you bought here, and what have they done for you?
Yeah, the supplements obviously played a huge part in what I've done, and I've stayed pretty strictly on the supplement regimen, ever since I started meeting with Leo, and that's creatine, glutamine, protein powder, and branched chain amino acid.
And they work. And I'll go out on a limb and say that when you discover these kind of supplements, the kind of creatine, the branched chain amino acids, the protein powder, it's the closest thing to a drug as you're going to get. And if you've listened to my previous podcast, I did one on nutrient timing. It's all about timing nutrients, specifically the protein, the BCAAs, the glutamine, and the creatine, certain times a day to do certain things. And Liam knows that the most important thing in his day is to stay anabolic, to stay in a protein synthesizing, muscle building mode. And so that's why he has his 6, 7, 8 meals throughout the day, and that's why he times all of these supplements around that workout period to help him grow. So, Liam, the last question I have for you, for our viewers, is what are your goals? What are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals?
My long-term goals are obviously to put on as much lean muscle mass as possible naturally. As a natural athlete, I have made a vouch that I will never take any drug, because first off, it's unnecessary, and you're risking, the whole reason we've gotten into this phenomenon, if you'd call it, is for health and fitness. And people started throwing the whole health and fitness out of the way when they started using all these chemicals and drugs, and it's like, I can achieve the physique that I want without using that, so that's what I'm going to do. And that's pretty much my motto.
And maybe compete someday?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say, and like I said, guys, I don't say this about too many people, because genetics are phenomenal. And I'll tell you how it kind of happened. I've always seen Liam with his shirt on, or a sweatshirt or a jacket, and I could, once in a while he'll wear a tank top, and you can see he's got muscle under there. But he sent me an email, I don't know, it was actually in the summertime, a few months ago, and he said, Leo, I'm thinking about wanting to compete. What do you think? And I get this question all the time from a lot of clients and a lot of customers, and 9 out of 10 times I tell them in a very respectful way, number one, go to a show and see what your competition's like. But number two, is there something that you're seeing that I'm not seeing? Because I'm thinking to myself, no, you shouldn't compete. You got a little bit of muscle, you look good, but you got to be peeled and ripped to the bone and have great genetics and a lot of muscle to stand on stage next to your competitors. So I didn't know how to tell Liam that, so I said, hey, Liam, come to my store. I want to talk to you. And so I was just going to break it to him as easily as possible. You're 15 years old. They don't have age class. All they have is teenage and then men's open. So you're going to be competing against 19-year-olds. And basically, you're going to get your ass handed to you. So I said, you know what, Liam, take your shirt off. And we were in the back of my store in my studio, and he takes his shirt off. And I just about fell on the floor. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, because he was covered up all the time. And I said, Liam, you're competing soon, and you could do well. You have a phenomenal taper. I don't know what your waist size is. I'm guessing it's a 25 or 26, but your shoulders are getting wider all the time. So, that taper's huge in bodybuilding or physique or classic physique. So, yeah, you definitely need to get on stage, and you're only going to grow more. So this podcast was meant solely to help motivate people and to teach them, and you're hearing it. I didn't pay him to do this. I asked him if he would do it, and he jumped at the chance. And he said he's tired of seeing people do the wrong things in the gym and buy supplements that don't work, and they spin their wheels. They look the same. So every time I see Liam, he looks different. And it's because the work he's putting into it. So this podcast was done to help motivate young people that if you do the right thing outside the gym, take the right supplements, train the right way, your possibilities are endless. So thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Please share and subscribe to the link below and give it a thumbs up. And Liam, I thank you for your time. I know you came right from school to come here, so thank you.
Thanks,